भी कमाल का है। तो इनका बल्ला अगर चलेगा तो भाई सामने वाली टीम की जो है दोस्तों हालत खराब हो सकती है। तो देखते हैं यार किस रणनीति के साथ आज यहाँ पे ये दोनों टीमें जो है दोस्तों खेलेंगी। मजा जो है काफी आएगा, तो इस मैच को आप बिल्कुल मिस मत कीजिए। और आप सभी को बता दें कल WTC का फाइनल है और इस मौके पे विजन 11 अपने सभी यूजर्स को 50,000 का फ्री कॉन्टेस्ट दे रहा है। तो देर किस बात की, जाइए खेलिए विजन 11 पे। लिंक आप सभी को मैंने वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन और चैट बॉक्स में जो है दोस्तों दे दिया है। दोस्तों आप सभी को बता दूं कुछ देर पहले टॉस हुआ था जहां पे मिडलसेक्स के कप्तान स्टीफन एकेंजी ने टॉस जीतकर पहले जो है गेंदबाजी करने का दोस्तों निर्णय लिया है। एक बहुत ही अच्छा डिसीजन यहां पे देखने को मिला, क्योंकि ये टीम जानती है कि इस मैच में पहले गेंदबाजी करना जो है काफ़ी आसान रहेगा, क्योंकि हमने देखा है दोस्तों कि यहाँ पे काफ़ी टीमों ने जो है टारगेट को चेस करते हुए मैचेस जीते हैं। और इसी सोच के साथ जो है दोस्तों आज के मैच में भी आप लोगों को जो है ये टीम खेलती हुई नजर आएगी। अब सबसे बड़ा सवाल ये रहेगा कि आज हैम्पशायर जो कि दोस्तों पहले बल्लेबाजी करेगी, ये टीम जो है कितने रन जो दोस्तों स्कोर बोर्ड पे दर्ज कर पाती है। देखो जिस तरीके की दोस्तों इस टीम की बल्लेबाजी है, आई थिंक एक बड़ा टोटल जो है दोस्तों हम यहाँ पे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं। और मुझे लग रहा है कि आज के मैच में जो है दोस्तों हमें कम से कम जो है दोस्तों यहाँ पर 170 के करीब स्कोर जो है दोस्तों बनता हुआ देखने को मिलेगा, जो कि एक बहुत ही अच्छा टोटल है। हो सकता है टीम इससे ज़्यादा भी बना ले, बट ये एक एवरेज स्कोर है जो कि जनरली यहाँ पे बनता है। तो देखते हैं यार क्या होता है इस मैच में। आप लोग कहीं मत जाइए, और अगर अभी तक आपने वीडियो को लाइक नहीं किया तो भाई लाइक ज़रूर कर लीजिए। और अभी जाके दोस्तों हमारे टेलीग्राम ग्रुप को आप ज्वाइन कर लेना, क्योंकि इस मैच की जो फैंटेसी टीम है वो आप लोगों को जो है मैंने टेलीग्राम पर दे दी है। तो जो भी भाई फैंटेसी क्रिकेट खेलते हैं वो लोग टेलीग्राम से जुड़ जाइए। लिंक आप सभी को वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन और चैट बॉक्स में दे रखा है। साथ ही में दोस्तों लाइव मैच का लिंक भी जो है अपने टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में आप लोगों को प्रोवाइड कर दूंगा। इसलिए दोस्तों आप सभी से बार बार कह रहा हूं कि टेलीग्राम से जुड़िए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो जाइए ज्वाइन कर लीजिए। और अगर अभी तक आपने हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब भी नहीं किया तो भाई सब्सक्राइब भी जरूर कर लीजिए दोस्तों, क्योंकि हम आपके लिए ऐसे जो है दोस्तों सभी मुकाबले लेकर आते रहेंगे। बड़ा मैच है दोस्तों यहाँ पर दोनों टीमों के बीच में, दोनों टीमें जो है तैयार होती हुई। आप जो है कौन सी टीम को इस मैच में सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं आप लोग हमें कमेंट्स में जो है बता सकते हैं। चलिए अब आगे बढ़ते हैं और आज इस मैच का पिच रिपोर्ट के बारे में जान लेते हैं, क्योंकि काफी लोगों का यही सवाल है कमेंट में भी कि भाई पिच रिपोर्ट बताइए। तो सबसे पहले दोस्तों आपको बता दें कि यहाँ का पिच अगर आप देखें तो एकदम सपाट विकेट नजर आ रहा है, जिसका मतलब है कि यहाँ पर बल्लेबाजों को तो मदद मिलेगी ही, लेकिन जब हम गेंदबाजों की बात करते हैं तो दोस्तों इस मैच में तेज गेंदबाजों को काफी मदद मिलेगी एज कंपेयर टू स्पिनर्स, क्योंकि हमने देखा है कि यहाँ पर तेज गेंदबाज जो है नई गेंद को जो है स्विंग करा लेते हैं, क्योंकि गेंद यहाँ पे स्विंग होता है, साथ ही में इस पिच पे अतिरिक्त उछाल भी मिलता है, जिसका मतलब है कि आज के मैच में अधिकतर जो विकेटें रहेंगी वो तेज गेंदबाजों के जो है दोस्तों खाते में जाएंगी। स्पिनर्स के लिए विकेट निकालना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल रहेगा, क्योंकि हमने देखा है जनरली यहाँ पर गेंद उतना टर्न करता नहीं है, लेकिन ऑफकोर्स कोशिश जो है दोस्तों यहाँ पे दोनों टीमें जरूर करेंगी कि अच्छा अपना बेस्ट यहाँ पे जरूर देंगे, क्योंकि दोनों टीमें जानती है मैच इंपॉर्टेंट जरूर है। अगर प्लेऑफ की रेस में बने रहना है तो यहाँ से किसी एक टीम को जो है दोस्तों अपने बाकी के सभी मुकाबले जो है दोस्तों जीतने होंगे। अब देखते हैं यार वो कौन सी टीम है दोस्तों जो कि यहाँ से अपने रिमेनिंग मैचेस जो है जीतेगी। चलिए जीते कोई भी, लेकिन अगर आपको इस मैच की 100% श्योर विनर और सेशन रिपोर्ट चाहिए तो आप जो है दोस्तों हमारे टेलीग्राम को ज्वाइन कर लें, क्योंकि टेलीग्राम पर आप सभी को जो है दोस्तों मैं इस मैच की श्योर रिपोर्ट जो है दोस्तों दूंगा। और आप तो जानते हैं हमारी रिपोर्ट से हाल ही में लोगों ने जो अच्छी खासी विनिंग करी है, एकदम फ्री में रिपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करते हैं, जेन्युइन रिपोर्ट होता है, एक्यूरेट होता है। तो भाई मौके का फायदा उठाए, क्योंकि ऐसे मौके बार बार जो है आप लोगों को नहीं मिलते। लिंक आप सभी को मैंने टेलीग्राम को डिस्क्रिप्शन और चैट बॉक्स में दे रखा है। अब आगे बढ़ते हैं दोस्तों और इन दोनों टीमों के एक बार रीसेंट फॉर्म के बारे में भी जो है जान लेते हैं। सबसे पहले जो है यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करें दोस्तों हैम्पशायर की, तो हम सब जानते हैं हैम्पशायर के लिए पिछले कुछ मुकाबले जो है T20 प्लस में काफ़ी अच्छे रहे हैं। इस टीम ने काफ़ी अच्छा परफॉर्म करा, दैट इज ग्रेट। लास्ट 5 मैचेस में से 3 मैच ये टीम जीती है, 2 मुकाबले हारी है। जबकि दूसरे एंड पे अगर आप मिडलसेक्स की बात करते हैं तो इस टीम ने दोस्तों अपने लास्ट 5 मुकाबलों में से जो है सिर्फ 2 ही मुकाबले जीते हैं और 3 मुकाबले जो है दोस्तों ये टीम हारी है। तो देखना इंटरेस्टिंग रहेगा कि आज जब ये दोनों टीमें दोस्तों खेलेंगी तो भाई कौन सी टीम जो है इस मैच को में जीत अपने नाम दर्ज कर पाती है। अर्ली प्रिडिक्शन जो है दोस्तों मैं इस समय यहाँ पे नहीं करना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि मौका भाई दोनों ही टीमों के पास है और दोनों टीमें दोस्तों जरूर चाहेंगी कि आज अपना बेस्ट जो है दोस्तों यहाँ पे जरूर दें। तो देख लेते हैं यार आगे क्या होता है इस मैच में। चैनल को जो है आप लोग सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए, वीडियो को अगर अब तक आपने लाइक नहीं किया है तो लाइक भी जो है दोस्तों जरूर कर लीजिएगा, क्योंकि इस चैनल पे आपको हमेशा जो है दोस्तों ऐसे ही लाइव मैचेस जो है देखने को मिलते हैं। और अब जो है दोस्तों हम आपको ले चलते हैं भाई सीधा ग्राउंड की तरफ। और इस समय आप सभी लोग अपनी स्क्रीन पे जो है दोस्तों यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं दोनों टीमों के खिलाड़ी जो है ग्राउंड पे देखे जा सकते हैं। वार्म अप वगैरह हो रहा है, प्रैक्टिस वगैरह यहाँ पे चालू है, क्योंकि दोनों टीमें जानती कितना इंपॉर्टेंट और कितना क्रूशियल जो है दोस्तों ये मैच है। तो आप इस मैच को बिल्कुल भी मिस मत कीजिए। वीडियो को लाइक नहीं किया तो भाई लाइक जरूर कर लीजिएगा दोस्तों, और अपना सपोर्ट जो है जरूर दिखाइए। अब आगे बढ़ते हैं और इन दोनों टीमों के ट्रम्प प्लेयर्स के बारे में भी जान लेते हैं। सबसे पहले अगर हम हैम्पशायर की बात करें तो इस टीम के दोस्तों जो ट्रम्प प्लेयर्स हैं उसमें नाम शामिल है जेम्स विंस हैं, बेन मैकडॉर्मेट है, लियाम डॉसन है। वहीं दूसरे छोर पर मिडलसेक्स की बात करें तो इस टीम के जो
very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Radlett. The Vitality Blasts back at Compton Hill. Middlesex taking on Hampshire in this fixture, and news at the toss is that Middlesex have won it and elected to field. So, Middlesex winning the toss, decided to field, and Stephen Eskenazi decided. Stephen Eskenazi, the captain, Joe Cracknell, Max Holden, Ryan Higgins, Ryan Higgins, Jack Davis, Luke Holman, Josh DeCaries, Martin Anderson, Tom Helm, and Blake Cullen. As for Hampshire, the Hawks are James Vince, the captain, Ben McDermott, the wicketkeeper, Toby Albert, Joe Weatherly, Ross Whiteley, Aneurin Donalds, Liam Dawson, Chris Wood, Nathan Ellis, Scott Curry, and John Turner.
होती हुई आप जो है कौन सी टीम को इस मैच में सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं आप लोग हमें कमेंट्स में जो है आज इस मैच का पिच
आप सभी का फिर एक दफा
Field first in this fixture, ground they know very, very well. First in this Radlett. I'm Kevin Hans, I'd like to say alongside me for this one. Toby Jones, first innings. Anyway, Toby, familiar territory.
Desperate
here.
to pick up that first.
I'm sure will be desperate to pick up that first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ground they know very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon. Certainly, obviously, in recent years, I think the guys have found the brand of cricket that we played to find the wins, and I think it's great for us to come here and hopefully put on a good performance.
Hampshire, big win against Sussex in the last game. Of course, Middlesex have already played them down at the Aegeus. The victory it was for Hampshire Prize, and they went all the way last year. They're an experienced set up. Pretty much your bases covered, aren't they, Hampshire?
Yeah, definitely. They're a strong team. Obviously, particularly they've got a lot of consistency. I'd say at the top of their order, mixed in with I think Nathan Ellis has come in and really made an impact with his sort of international standard of death bowling as well, with some decent spin options. So certainly, they've got pretty good experience in there, and also some young guys, I guess, to give a bit of energy and gives them a good opportunity for a bit of freshness as well.
Neil Baton and Rob Bailey, the umpires out in the middle. Wayne Noon is the match referee for this one. And there's Jack Davis skipping into shot with the gloves on, ready to go. So James Vince and Ben McDermott on their way out to open, formidable opening pair. And in fact, it was here a couple of years ago against Vince that I saw Blake Cullen for the first time. Really an incredible spell of bowling from him that night, and really troubled Vince with his pace.
Yes. Certainly, and I think Blakey coming back from an injury year, and certainly I think the blast, he probably took a little bit of time this season to make sure he was up to speed, and the blast came at a really good time for him. He sort of looked like he was really starting to gather a bit of momentum, and yeah, he's looked like he's sort of freeing up nicely and running in with good intensity. So hopefully we'll see a bit of that again today.
Tom Helm to open us up from the pavilion end. He's got two slips in place, a gully, deep point cover and a mid-off. Bit of shape on that one. Pace and bounce. Did think that was a smile on his face as he turned. He enjoyed that first delivery.
Yeah, well, I think certainly Helmy's one of those guys that there aren't too many of them in the country who sort of seems to find it pretty easy to get some shape with the new ball. So certainly I think up front, first over, maybe a little bit beyond, he's always looking to be nice and attacking and see if he can bring those slips into play.
That's well fielded. It's beautiful work from Helm for his own bowling, tumbling forward.
I think that's something as well. You come to Radlett and places like this, I think, with the power that they've got, that you're going to have to be bang on it, both with your skill-wise bowling, but also in the field, and look to find as many ways you can to restrict the runs and try and bring about some errant shots at some point.
There's that movement again. Single down to deep third, but Helm will really enjoy what we've seen in the early couple of deliveries here so far.
Always a very popular area, I find, early on here at Radlett. Just that little bit of uncertainty with the bounce. Third man always feels like it's a crucial position, particularly with the outfield as it is.
There's 91 that these two put on against Middlesex at the Ageas before McDermott was out. Caught Holman off the bowling of Fernandez. 39 for him from 29 deliveries, but 88 unbeaten from Vince from 55. Oh, got a glove to it, Davis, but not enough. That one really did go away. Down the leg side, 4 wides.
Yeah, it looked like might have got the wrong side of that one there, Helmy. Certainly seemed to just carry on going once it was drifting down leg. And yeah, I think even if you had a 6-foot wicket keeper, he might not have stopped that. But certainly, yeah, Jack Davies with his arm span certainly isn't getting that.
A polite way of saying he's not the tallest then.
He's a keeper. He's not supposed to be.
Two to come with the opening over. Live at Radlett. The stream courtesy of iShares.
You've seen there as well. I think that length there is going to be key from the opening bowlers today. Looks like it'll be hard work. Just back of a length. Try and make these guys force it and hopefully make a mistake early.
There's a good example of it once more. What is it about Radlett? Because it has been a home advantage ground for Middlesex, really, hasn't it? And you know, even the younger players have said to me, the funny thing is, you get an overseas pro and he comes up and he puts his arm around you and he wants to know something about Radlett because obviously you guys have played here so much.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say there's any one thing in particular. I think it's one of those grounds where it is small in its nature, but it's probably the pitch doesn't always make it the easiest to clear the fences, so it's probably ground you need to be smart at.
It's up in the air and just past backward point. First boundary off the bat into the opening over. 10 without loss.
Certainly, I feel like we've had a decent success at times here, defending totals, maybe trying to force the opposition to feel the need to maybe overhit or to try and feel like they need to push a little bit too early. And sometimes that's not always as easy as it looks here. And also, I think having that confidence, you know, once you start getting a bit of momentum at a ground, and obviously it sort of all adds to it, and yeah, it certainly adds to the belief that guys have, knowing that we can also chase anything as well as defend most things. So that always sort of adds to the belief, and yeah, hopefully that'll be something that the guys can use today.
Blake Cullen from Salsfield Ends. It was this end bowling to Vince, where I remember I was sat side on at square leg because of COVID times, watching him bowl for the first time. And his pace on a bouncy track, that surface really caused problems. I was watching him bowl for the first time. McDermott brings Vince onto strike. And his pace on a bouncy track, that surface really caused problems. I was watching him bowl for the first time. McDermott brings Vince onto strike. And his pace on a bouncy track, that surface really caused problems. I was watching him bowl for the first time. McDermott brings Vince onto strike. And his pace on a bouncy track, that surface really caused problems. I was watching him bowl for the first. Putting him in a short cover point, really. It's a backward point, deep third, extra cover and a mid-off on the offside. It's leg side from Cullen, but straight to the fielder in the deep. Josh De Carey's. Home ground for De Carey's, the Radlett cricketer. Again, so many of the Middlesex second 11 know this ground so well here at Radlett. Use of the feet. Oh, and clears Eskenazi. For a moment, he had a couple of steps thinking, could he get involved with it? But McDermott gets enough of it. His first boundary.
Yeah, he looked like he was maybe just a couple of yards inside the ring there, Stevie. I'm not sure if we'll see on the replay. Yeah, he was, and yeah, obviously trying to sort of add a bit of pressure, trying to, you know, keep things nice and tight. And yeah, he's a big boy, McDermott, and unfortunately the miss hit just clears him.
Sharply back past Cullen. Fingertips to it, that would have hurt. Back-to-back boundaries for Hampshire. Wow, I didn't realise quite where it went back past him. That was a nasty one for Cullen.
Yeah, and I think the immediate shout's there for the physio. I'm not sure if that's maybe something's split or whether...
Yeah, a bit of bloods on his ring finger, I think. Not nice.
No, he certainly was hit back with a lot of power. And I think, yeah, particularly these days in 2020, there's always that risk running in and bowling yourself off your feet of the ball coming straight back and, yeah, sort of causing a bit of injury or having a bit of an impact. I think looking at Blakey there, I think he's sort of confident he'll be all right and just actually needs a bit of a clean-up or something like that.
Pete Waxman, the Middlesex physio. That's 10-2 Cullen. So Hampshire have 3 wins so far in this group. Just looking back over their matches, they lost 2 of their first 3. But if you flip that round, they've won 3 of their last 4. So a big game for them tonight after that big victory against Sussex the other day. Defeat for Middlesex at Bristol.
Yeah, and they struggled in that game down at Taunton, didn't they, where they got bowled out cheaply and certainly struggled to kind of get going there. And I think since then, obviously, Vince has sort of found a particularly rich vein of form, and obviously they've got enough players around him to really sort of pad that out and to sort of utilise that well. So yeah, certainly a dangerous side.
Yeah, Vince got 1 at Taunton since then. 88 unbeaten against Middlesex, 88 unbeaten against Surrey, 103 at Chelmsford, and then that victory against Sussex, 71 unbeaten. Extraordinary, almost Eskenazi-like form.
Yeah, it is, and certainly I think he has always been one of those guys who, when he hits a purple patch, certainly he can really kind of, you know, draw that out and make it count. So he's obviously going to be someone who is going to be particularly important for us to kind of find a way of dismissing him, I guess, trying to stay nice and attacking.
Here again, just that bounce, that little bit of movement, that length. It did look all the way as though that was going to be leg side and a simple tuck for McDermott, but it never is that simple, as you say, at Radlett sometimes.
I think it's always the case. I think, you know, bowling wise, you know that, you know, there's a good chance that there's going to be a few leaked runs here and there, but you also know that exactly that off your length, and it can be hard to get away, and it can sort of make the batsman feel like they're unsure whether to get forward, back, and what shots to play.
Another example of it, not picking it up that cleanly just yet out in the middle. That's the end of the second, and 11 off it. Hampshire put in 21 without loss. Yeah, McDermott not short of form either. Mentioned that partnership with Vince against Middlesex.
I mean, it does feel like a partnership that complements itself pretty nicely, doesn't it? You've got one guy who probably is a bit more of a stroke maker, and one guy who tends to try and bludgeon the ball a bit more and try to kind of use a bit more strength and I guess kind of muscle it over the fences. So I guess that's sort of part of why they've been so successful.
Off spin into the attack early. Josh de Carey's from the pavilion end, replacing Tom Helm. Slants that one across. That's a good piece of fielding by Ryan Higgins. Excellent piece of fielding in there.
Yeah, nice to see this as well from Eski. I think it's always nice to mix up the tempo a bit and Josh bowled really nicely in and out of the power play, I thought, in Bristol. So hopefully he can find us an early wicket.
Cry catch it and taken. Eskenazi has the catch at mid-off. The skipper brings on the off spinner, and De Carey's gets the chance offered up to Eskenazi. The end of Vince, gone for 5. His run comes to an end at Radlett. Crucial breakthrough for Middlesex.
Absolutely, and I guess when you look at things, you're probably thinking with James Vince, you know, that it's going to be hard to contain him with just 2 back with an off spinner coming on. But you know, that is T20. You've got to, I guess, put yourself out there, take risks, and know that actually, you know, nothing's ever going to be certain. And certainly that's paid off there. And good catch by Esky in the end, still coming hard and flat there.
Just the start Middlesex would have wanted. And the local boy, Josh De Carey, he bulked up a bit in the winter. Just looking at him when he's turning to bowl there. It seems like those shoulders have got a little bit broader.
Yeah, I think that is fair to say, and I think he sort of was with us, I guess, for the most part. A bit up and down still with his uni stuff, but certainly he has. And you know, I think particularly from the bowling side, he's always been someone who's been a smart bowler, if you like, and certainly had the intelligence, I guess, to play the one-day game.
Wristily worked by Albert out to deep square. Peter Milan doing the fielding. Brings McDermott back onto strike. An unbeaten 50 for McDermott in the victory against Sussex. Let's give himself a little bit of room there. It's off the pad for a dot ball. Toby Albert, 22 in November, Basingstoke boy. 16 T20s, 1 or 2 changes. Crane and Fuller making way for Donald's returning, then Turner. Single out to deep mid-wicket, which means Albert wasn't one of the changes. My apologies, I was confusing Turner. But yeah, Albert with top score of 38 in 11 innings in T20 cricket. Hit back hard as well. Boundary for Albert. Nicely struck into the over for Hampshire, but a wicket at the start for De Carey's.
Yeah, and really important that. I think any time you're playing here, taking wickets is always going to be crucially important. Not the easiest place for guys to start an innings. So I think, you know, taking wickets at regular intervals throughout is always going to be key. And once guys get in, then they can certainly start to get a better feel for the wicket. So hopefully that's something that we'll sort of find a way to do as we go through the innings. Still stay nice and positive, and yeah, try and break as many partnerships as possible.
Helms back at the Saltersfield ends. Placing Cullen at the far end from where we're sat, just watching the fields. Up comes Davis. Is he? I was about to say he was just orchestrating point. I was thinking that was brave.
Just ushering cover around, I think, a little bit.
Wow. My heart was in my mouth for a moment. I thought he was going to stand up there. Were you playing in the match here a few years back when... trying to remember the overseas Australian all-rounder in 2018 that Middlesex had. He got struck right in the grill. Hilton Cartwright got smashed in the grill, didn't he, by a ball that climbed off a length. And Isaiah Morgan said to me, yeah, Hilton basically ate one. Edged. Oh, nearly stops. Just gets past.
I don't think I was playing in that game. The fact that I can't remember it exactly probably means I wasn't here either. I think so. Certainly the back end of that year was the second time that my back had gone. So I think, yeah, I only played a handful of games with Hilts at the start of that year, and yeah, spent the rest of it kind of either rehabbing or holidaying, and then taking a mitt round for the end of the season.
Right on the spot here at the moment. Boundary. A blow, of course, but not the bowler's fault. Right on the spot. Interesting you mentioned about having third back, pretty much for that reason, wasn't it? You know, the good ball flies for a 4.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of the things that I think is really tricky for guys in the power play now, with how good guys are off back of a length.
Goes after that one and gets hold of it. Big shot all the way over the deep square.
Yeah, good pick up there, an example of the power that McDermott does have. Didn't feel like he got every part of that, and it's gone plenty far enough, hasn't it, to sort of clear the spectators there and into the fence.
Out towards the train track. McDermott onto 22.
And I think these are the interesting parts for bowlers. I think you have to kind of accept those shots sometimes. You're trying to bowl a good length, and perhaps Helmy might think that one was a fraction shot shorter, but you know, those are the shots that you're trying to draw out of an opening batsman, to try and take risk and see if it can result in a wicket.
Just a single. Briggs Albert on strike for the first time against Helm. One ball to come of the over. Oh, look at that fly. Just short of Peter Melander, short third. Single to end the over, but bounce for Helm, flying off the shoulder.
Yeah, and that's the exact delivery which, you know, creates that little bit of uncertainty in the batsman's mind. So, you know, good length again there from Helmy, and probably a little bit unlucky to go for as many he did in that over, but still looked a threat throughout. And yeah, another chance here for Josh De Keres to hopefully find a breakthrough.
Nathan Fernandez coming on for Helm. He's
still
charged straight off. I don't think a problem. The physio was there. Neither of them looked particularly concerned. A comfort break, perhaps. De Keres gets the second over, having picked up a wicket in the last. But smashed one back past De Keres. Tries to give himself room to think about something similar again.
Yeah, again well bowled. He's a good watcher of the batsman, Joshy, and yeah, certainly knows how to defend field well.
Scampered single, deep square and deep mid wicket, 2 back for De Keres to the right hander. And change that for McDermott, which will be deep mid wicket and long on.
Yeah, you feel like something might happen in the next few balls here with McDermott, whether it's boundary or a wicket. Something feels like it's going to have to happen.
That goes into the car park. Mind your windscreens back there.
I feel like something might happen in the next one. Yeah, certainly hit that clean there, McDermott. You can set a field,
Yeah, certainly hit that clean there, McDermott.
The boundaries are never going to be
hardships
big
about
enough.
playing here is you can set a field, but if guys do hit the ball clean, then the boundaries are never going to be big enough to contain guys, certainly with the power of McDermott. So still needs to stay nice and positive here, Joshy. If he decides to go again, it does bring him in the risk still.
Well, Bailey has a check of the ball, they're good to go.
Was it your window that got smashed by Nick Gubbins?
De Keres tracked that one down.
Yeah, it was actually. Rear window, front window. Yeah, I think it was one
Window
of the
got smashed by Nick Gubbins years ago at Uxbridge.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah.
Rear window, front window?
Yeah, I think it was one of the back windows, yeah. Which was, yeah.
Off Overton's bowling, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of those where, because I did enjoy the shot, I wasn't too annoyed, to be honest. But
I'm sure.
Yeah, not ideal when I suddenly realised that I had to get it sorted. But luckily the club insurance was all in place, so yeah.
Short again. This one's flat batted and flat batted well as well. It's well placed by Albert. Gets it fine, a cracknell at deep mid wicket. It's the 50 up at the end of the 5th.
Good example, I think, in that over of where Radlett can be quite hard to defend. You know, it just takes one good shot, you know, one maybe slightly shorter ball, and both have a good opportunity of being punished, and feels like it's hard to stop the batsman once they get into that groove and find a bit of momentum. So
first over for Martin Anderson, the last of the power play. He replaces Helm at Saltersfield Field end. He's bowled well, Anderson.
yeah, he has had a good campaign so far, Martin. Certainly been nice and positive, and when he's needed to, he's executed. You know, he's got a nice mixture of skills, and he's executed well. So it's been good to see.
Up there, first ball again. Seemed as though there's a little bit of movement on that one for Anderson. Just straight to the fielder. Did through the air seem as though again that one just had a little bit of late swing on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that one might have been Martin's knuckleball he's been working on a little bit, and certainly I think one of his skills this year is he's not been shy of going to his variations nice and early.
Up in the air. Big pick up by Albert. 6 runs. His first 6 of the innings.
Maybe looked like pace off again there from Martin, but unfortunately just a little bit too full of a length. And just allowed the batsman just to free his arms.
Well bowled. Albert stepping across, makes his intention clear. Anderson just pushed it that little bit wider. Yeah, there's no room for error here for the bowler at all, is there, Radlett? The other thing to bear in mind is that the pitch is very much on top of a mound, isn't it? As soon as it's gone past that infield, it's down the slope wherever it's going around the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight to Higgins at extra cover. One to come of the power play. 7 off the over so far.
And as you're saying there, certainly square of the wicket, it feels like the ball does run away, you know, particularly quickly. So, you know, as important as anything is finding those little pockets, and once you pierce the infield, then yeah, it can be pretty hard to stop.
Slaps hard, straight him it off. 11 off the over, end of the power play. 63 for 1. Just didn't quite get the length right on those couple that Albert managed to get away.
No, and it's been a good recovery, I think, from Hampshire. They've obviously, you know, looked to still be nice and positive, and like you said, probably been able to maximise any time that the bowlers have missed slightly on the fuller side, which probably suggests that it's still a decent wicket, if not a little bit tricky, I think. Just when it's that the bowlers have missed slightly on the fuller side.
Luke Holman into the attack. Looks as though he thought he was into the attack on a different day. Not quite as sunny as that.
Yeah, he's picked the cloudiest day of the week to slather himself with some sun cream.
War paint, I'm sure he'll tell us.
Yeah, it's always up there. It's always up there.
Nice start from Holman, just a single for McDermott onto the spot from the leg spinner straight away. Good again from Holman. Nicely on the spot where he needs to be. McDermott trying to hit him off that spot.
Yeah, and again, that's that sort of stick or twist mentality where you know that, you know, it can be tricky if they get hold of it.
Straight to the short fine leg. I did fancy he might go with the quicker ball. Just dragged it down slightly, so got away with it.
Yeah, and I think it's important here for Lukey just to hold his nerve, stay, you know, with that slightly fuller length.
And again, well bowled. Excellent starts the over here from the leg spinner. What does Albert make of it? 3 dot balls. Long off, long on, deep mid wicket, deep square. And deep point, not required there though, straight to backward point.
Really well bowled this from Lukey. He's mixed up his pace nicely, generally held his length pretty well and made it tough for the batsman just to rotate.
It's outside the line of off. Big appeal. Can't believe it. And there's umpire Bailey, I think, saying just that. Brilliant over though, just the one off it. 7 done.
Yeah, overs like that are key for wrestling back a little bit of that momentum as well. When they've just had a good finish to the power play, to you know, bowl the 7th and to really wrestle a bit of initiative, put a little bit of pressure back on them. They'll probably be feeling like they want to try and aim for something around the 200 mark, I'd guess, 180 to 200. So yeah, certainly a lovely start there from Luke.
Cullen back once again from Saltersfield Ends, where he started up. And the decision to field first for Middlesex, I guess that's part of it, isn't it? Saying to Hampshire, right, you don't know this pitch, you go and set a score on it.
Yeah, and I think here generally is a place where it can be both. You know, if you bat first, that there is an opportunity to post something that's pretty significant and make it hard to chase. But on the flip side, it can feel like it's very hard to contain as well if you haven't got enough on the board.
Saw bowl again by Cullen. There's that length and that pace.
Certainly, we've found that, you know, we've had, you know, both sides of it, I guess, where when we've set good totals, we've enjoyed defending and felt like it makes life pretty tricky, but also knowing that, you know, if we can bowl well up front and restrict the team to say 160 on a wicket like this, that if we get off to a good start, it can be hard to contain.
Oh, it's really well bowled. Bumped back over the bowler's head. They will get a single for it.
Yeah, been a great 9 balls since the power play. Like I said, really important to grab little pockets of momentum when you can, and certainly these 9 balls, I think, you know, between Blake and Luke have managed to hold their length particularly well, and looks like it's been really tough to get away.
Oh, adventurous, well played. Manoeuvred it in the end. Cullen did well, followed him wide outside the off stump. Looked to go for the Yorker, but Albert's adapted.
Yeah, good shot. Obviously, you know, third man, you can see there the adjustment that Blake has made to follow him, and yeah, he's dealt with it particularly well. He's nearly off the edge of the track there, and yeah, unfortunately just got a little tickle on it there, just to go through very fine of third man and run away for 4.
Same again, scoops him all the way. Brilliant from Albert. He's on to 31 from 19.
Yeah, another great shot. I think again, you know, the pressure that had been built has kind of resulted in the batsman having to find something different, and you know, hats off to him. He's managed to execute particularly well there with scoops on either side of the wicket, which is particularly hard to set fields for if they go that fine. So
.50 partnership for the second wicket as well. Oh, now on the right hand. He's taken one on the left, now one on the right. It's a bowler's life in T20 cricket. End of the 8th, 75 for 1.
You've got nowhere to go when both hands have gone. So, yeah, hopefully that one.
It's a bowler's life.
Closer to the centre and just stings for 5 minutes or so.
Solid partnership from 34 deliveries now. 53 runs.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing the importance, like we mentioned earlier, about the importance of wickets and finding ways to break these partnerships. Once guys find a bit of momentum, then it can feel hard to stop them.
Just manages to get it through past Eskenazi at extra cover, thinking about the second, but settling on the one. Cracknell doing the fielding. Looks like they found a decent player in Albert. Yeah, 21 years of age from Basingstoke. Bit of a drag from McDermott, just a single out to Holden at deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, I can't say that I've seen much of Albert before, but obviously so far we've seen a mixture of those scoops and also some good shots down the ground as well. So yeah, certainly started off nicely here.
Should just be a single. Holman started really well here, just one off the first over. Three back on the onside, deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on. That goes in the air to the short third, and Albert goes, caught by Anderson. Fine little cameo from Albert. Good partnership for the second wicket. Brilliant bowling again from Holman.
Yeah, well deserved that from Luke there. You know, his lengths, you know, from ball one have been immaculate, and he's made life really tricky for the guys to put him away and to find their attacking options. So yeah, he's managed to draw a bit of a full shot there, something different out of the batter, and held his nerve and yeah, got absolutely what he deserves.
I think it was towards the end of the last over you said you just fancy something's got to give. Well, it does now for Hampshire, and they couldn't really let Holman continue to bowl as he was. They had to try something. Well, with that attempt comes risk.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those grounds, like I said, with its dimensions, you don't feel like you can ever have too long a period against one particular bowler where you're not, you know, finding ways to put pressure on him or to find the boundary. So when you do find little passages like Luke has done there, then it really does bring about, I guess, a bit of a you or me situation. And fortunately for Luke, he's held his nerve there, and like I said, absolutely, like Luke has done there, then it really does bring about, I guess, a bit of a you or me situation. And fortunately for Luke, he's held his nerve situation. And fortunately for Luke, he's held his nerve situation. And fortunately for Luke, he's held his nerve situation. And fortunately for Luke, he's held his nerve.
Single first ball for Weatherly. And a single to end the over. Absolutely brilliant from Holman. Just 5 off it. 1 for 6 off his 2. 80 for 2 at the end of the 9th.
Yeah, brilliant from Luke, and he's had a couple of games, I feel like, this year where he's probably not got what he deserved, as well as a few where he's been a little bit frustrated at the odd miss here or there. So it's nice to see him, you know, bowling really nicely. And, you know, I guess in cricket it always comes around eventually if you stick to doing the right things. So certainly, yeah, those first 2 overs seem to be a good example of that.
It makes it easier or harder for him being a young leg spinning all-rounder. In the, you know, does he wear it heavily if one isn't going well?
I think it is, yeah, a bit of both. It certainly is hard because the game always finds its way coming back to results, but it's also, you know, a case of staying as level as he can and knowing that some days the batsman does have a good day, and yeah, a lot of the time that he'll find himself with his all-round ability being able to impact the game on either side of it.
Good start from Higgins right up there on the off stump. He gets a bowl at Bristol.
It's you know, it's a difficult art, leg spin, and you know, quite unique, I think, in its standing in the game. And yeah, I guess it does have sometimes a little bit of added pressure on it.
Thinking two, should comfortably be a couple to carries. He's quick, and good arm as well, but easily two.
And often I think a lot of the you know, any young spinner, you know, whether it's finger spin or leg spin, sometimes that sort of first few years in the games is much sort of learning the mental side and, you know, the sort of tactical side rather than all the technical, really.
Nice again from Higgins, just a single. Weatherly has scored unbeaten 6 in the game against Middlesex, 9 against Surrey at Southampton, 29 at Chelmsford. Not required to bat in that 10-wicket victory against Sussex. Also managed 3 in the first game at Taunton when well, it all went wrong for Hampshire pretty quickly. Bowled out for just 74, 8-wicket victory with 63 balls to spare for Somerset. Hampshire were all done in 16.1 overs, top score of 18 from Ross Whiteley. A decent ball on a length. The lengths have been immaculate really today for Middlesex, haven't they?
Yeah, it feels like, you know, in the main part, certainly pretty simple game plan when on a pitch like this, just to hold back of a length with the odd change of pace. And yeah, I think key moments like this where there is a new batter in, it's crucially important to make sure that you don't give them too much to work with. And this has been a perfect example of that so far from Ryan.
Higgins sets off. Manages to ensure it's just a single.
Yeah, always full of energy, right? Any opportunity to go run and chase it like a madman, he'll take up. So good to see.
A single to end the over. Good comeback here from Middlesex. Higgins goes for just 5 off his first over. The halfway stage, 84, 85 now for 2. Hampshire haven't been put in.
Yeah, and I think at this halfway stage, you know, you're always, like I said, we do know the ground here, but you always got to be prepared to sort of adjust and sort of make sure you assess the conditions. And certainly, you know, it looks like just the most basic game plan of just back of a length looks like it's really tricky for the guys at the moment. Try and make the batsman hit you off it and see if you can frustrate them, I guess, into a mistake.
Interesting to see that worm there, just one decent over in the last 4 for Hampshire, so very much feels like this could be a big over one way or the other. With 8 wickets standing, they're not going to want to leave runs out there.
Yeah, one of the trickier periods this for the set batter as well, because he knows that it's his job to go a bit deeper now.
Goes first ball, goes big and goes all the way. Holden has a look for a moment, but that thumps into the Portaloo. Hope there was nobody in there.
Yeah. Good strike that there from McDermott. Probably again, like we said, the fuller ball is the one that's just maybe been a little bit more hittable there. But yeah, it's a good strike. And again, example of the set batter finding it a little bit easier.
Right on the roof. Not quite the scene from Jurassic Park when the dinosaur lifts off the lid of the porter cabin. Would have given somebody quite the shock though. Is it a replacement ball? It is. That one gone? Bounced off into the... Or is it just that they've checked the ball that's been retrieved? Good length inside edge. Turn it on to 47. Weatherly on strike.
Yeah, and you feel like it's going to be crucial now in these next sort of 3 to 4 overs that Middlesex can find a way to get McDermott out and to keep getting those fresh batters in at the moment, particularly as we move towards the back end.
350s in 50 T20 innings for Weatherly. Excellent from Anderson. Winchester-born, 26-year-olds.
Yeah, it feels like he's never someone who's necessarily nailed down a place, I guess, in their T20 team, but definitely has had moments and made impacts along the way. I think I seem to remember he had a decent day, or remember him a little bit from finals day last year. And certainly I think someone who seems fairly reliable if he does come in as a replacement, or like he is at the moment, first choice.
Just seems to be executing a little bit better this evening. We're reading too much into it, Middlesex. It just seems as though the bowling just seems to be hitting the spot more often than not tonight.
Yeah, and again, maybe having that little bit of clarity on Radler just adds a little bit of assurance, I guess, to game plans, and guys will be pretty confident that they know what the best options are.
Slow ball. Gets through everything.
Yeah, good change up there from Mark. That back of a length has been really successful, and often a batter will expect you to stick around there if it's proving tricky to get away. So sometimes a little bit of a successful, and often a batter will expect you to.
Then a single, 3 dot balls. Here comes the last one. Oh, leading edge. Singles finish. 2 to Carey's at point. Weatherly keeps the strike. He's on 3 from 7. Middlesex won't mind that at all, that he'll be on strike for the start of the 12th. Be a little bit of pressure on him to, well, make sure that the runs start ticking. 93 for 2. You mentioned perhaps McDermott plays more of the anchor role here and plays the long game. They're going to have to play around him. If he does, they're going to have to get going, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's someone who, as long as he's at the crease, is always going to be aggressive, and he's always going to find a way of scoring boundaries. So, you know, that's something which we're going to need to apply pressure to Weatherly as well, to make sure that McDermott feels like he might have to do a little bit more. And yeah, hopefully, you know, that swings a bit of risk in our favour.
Holman from Saltersfield End. Leg by first up. First over from the far end from where we're sat for Holman. Oh, now some real turn there from the leg spinner. You can see McDermott just reacting to it. Very nearly dollied one back. Inside out. And gone! Long off takes the catch. Cracknell's underneath it. McDermott goes for 47. This is brilliant from Holman. He's got 2 for 7.
Absolutely, and again, it's, I think, the length from Holman which has been absolutely vital, just not allowed them to have any sort of free shot or to put their hands through the ball. And ultimately there, I think building a bit of pressure on Weatherly has really sort of added to, I guess, McDermott feeling like he needed to go. And good catch by Cracknell there at mid-off.
He took one of the best catches you'll see at Merchant Taylor School last week. That one was a little bit more comfortable, but certainly with plenty of pressure on it. The danger man goes McDermott. 94 for 3.
And it's felt like he's had really good energy through the crease here today, Luke. He really bowled with good intent and looked like he, you know, I guess has an extra spring in his step, looks confident, and certainly it's showing in the way that the ball's coming out. It's been great to watch.
Not to be back-to-back 50s for McDermott then. Ross Whiteley comes in at 5.
I do worry this means the war paint is here to stay, though, unfortunately.
What's the cricketing version of Cold Tuesday night in Stoke in February?
Most cricketers are pretty superstitious folk, so yeah, if he carries on in this vein and manages to get another one, then yeah, you could see him with white cheeks for the rest of the summer.
Will he do this on a cold Monday at Chesley Street in April, though?
Yeah.
Swept in the air. Oh, fine. Up to Carey's. for 4. 99 on the boards.
Again, didn't look fully in control of that Weatherly. Lukey just making it challenging enough to find that attacking option. But as we know, square here, if it's not directly at the man, you're always going to get good value for runs. But he should be happy with that, Lukey.
First boundary conceded, 5th ball of this third
over. I think
over.
it might be, yeah.
Oh, goes for the reverse. Doubles finish. 6 off the over, 2 for 12 from 3. It's been outstanding from Holman.
Or was there maybe one maximum? I think McDermott might have hit one maximum as well. But when you factor those in, it arguably makes it more impressive that he's been able to string together so many dot balls, I think, is the key thing.
99 for 3 after 12. It's a dangerous time now for Hampshire.
Yeah, and I think Eski here, seeing that, you know, a left-hander coming in, having only faced one ball, good chance for the off-spinner to come on and try and see if he can make life a little bit tricky for him early on.
34 years of age now, Ross Whiteley. Sheffield lad.
Yeah, I was at Leeds at the same time as Ross. Played in the MCCU stuff a little bit together.
.192 T20s for Whiteley. 650s, top scorer 91. Strike rate of nearly 140.
Again, that's been another feature, I think, from the fielding this evening, is being able to cut off those singles, just adds that extra bit of pressure.
Swept in the air. Swept straight to deep backward square. Anderson holds on. Middlesex have a 4th. Pressure building on Hampshire here at Radlett.
Yeah, it really is great rewards. We mentioned about saving those singles, and it just adds that little bit of pressure there, stops the strike rotating and probably forces the batsman there into a full shot. So no, it's been, you know, really good patch this, from a mixture of, I guess, the spin and the seam, just finding ways of adding little pockets of pressure and making it tricky to hit. So really good patch here, and 4 wickets down now makes it a little bit tricky for Hampshire here to know whether to stick or twist.
But it really has been quite the team bowling performance from Middlesex as well, where in the last couple of matches, to be fair, you kind of looked back and thought someone needs to stick their hand up and be that player, be that man on the day. It's been a team effort so far with the ball.
Yeah, and I think we saw positives in that performance at Gloucester as well. I think, you know, generally I think a lot of those guys will feel like they bowled pretty well, and we were probably only 10 under par and maybe two better overs away from really being the right side of that game. So it feels like it's just a little bit of a progression on from that, and like you said, to a man, I think the guys have been excellent.
And you're in Donald back into the sides. Can he get back into the runs? Single first ball. 26 years of age now, Swansea born. 5 T20 50s and 56 innings. Top scorer of 76.
Two new batters here as well. It feels like that really gives us a great opportunity here to further add to it and build some extra pressure.
Into the 13th wicket for Takaris, and a catch for Anderson. So 13 gone, 102 for 4. 7 overs to go. The defending champions won't go down without a fight here. Middlesex certainly be pretty pleased with their match position at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got Blake Cullen coming on here to, I guess, try and see if we can find another breakthrough. Almost, having got a couple of quicker wickets there, try and use Blakey here to see if he can find us another one that would really, I guess, crack it open and yeah, I guess get us halfway there.
Single worked into the onside. It's nice again from Cullen. It's something that we picked up really early. He talked about in terms of Radlett being a pitch where if you hit your length, you get good reward as a seamer.
Yeah, and probably on a day like this, the skill is almost to not complicate things too much. At times, variety is key and keeping the batter guessing, whereas a day like this, I think nice and simple and make him hit you off your best length.
Officially pushed to mid-on, didn't go fully through with it though. Donald, just a single.
Come on, one straight up in this set, mate.
No, and you sense that these two again feel the need to just rebuild a little bit here. I think the modern game, obviously, guys are more positive and try not to have too many periods where the scoring rate drops, but you feel like here it's crucial that they don't take too many risky options.
Single more brings Donald back onto strike here. Went on loan. Donald's due to the injury to Brooke Guest's hamstring injury, so he went on loan to Derbyshire. And world record innings, Sidley, 234 from just 136 deliveries. Glamorgan against Derbyshire in 2016 before his switch from Wales to Southampton. Lifted in the air, cry of catch. And he's gone. Brilliant catch at fine leg. Takeris holds on. Wicket for Cullen, and that's the end of Donald. Just 2 to his name. And Hampshire in the 14th. Need to be very careful here. They're 105 for 5.
Yeah, great bowling there from Blake, using the fact that he could have his men back and utilise that short ball, and also, I guess, a word for Esky there, recognising that, bringing on one of your strike bowlers, if you like, just seeing it there, great catch as well. But yeah, seeing Blakey as a strike bowler, which he certainly is, we've seen that over a number of years now, that he's always got a chance of taking wickets, and yeah, recognising that scenario and managing to get him in at the right time is obviously paid dividends there.
That reminded me very much of that the first time that I saw him side on here at Radlett, and his pace and bounce from Saucer's field end really causing trouble to Vince, I mentioned that night.
Yeah, and definitely he's someone when he gets his legs pumping and he gets through the crease, he certainly does crank it up to a pretty good number, and obviously can be a little bit awkward, I think, more than anything, and sort of hard to really know where the ball's coming from exactly and to line it up, which adds to him.
Wood, the new batter for Hampshire, in at number 7. Last ball of Cullen's third over, 1 for 24. That's nicely bowled. Top ball off the stumps from Woods. 105 for 5 at the end of the over, so Donald's gone. Caught by Takeris for 2. 105 for 5 off 14. And at one point, we were saying that Hampshire would very much have in mind somewhere around 200. It's a long way off right now. They'll be thinking just to get somewhere towards 160, I guess, at this stage.
Yeah, and I think probably this innings so far just highlights the importance of partnerships on a ground like this, how hard it is when you're starting up as a batsman, and probably the need to give yourself a little bit of time and to make sure that wickets don't fall in clusters.
Down the grounds and all the way. Cracknell watches it fly.
Good strike. He's a strong lad, Ross Whiteley, and I think he backs himself to clear most fences around the country. But in this situation now, he's an experienced cricketer who's played, a decent amount of cricket around the world, and often those guys are the ones who have been in these scenarios the most amount of times and find the right mixture of being attacking whilst rebuilding, I guess.
Chris Woods, another Basingstoke-born cricketer for Hampshire. Churn him out from Basingstoke. It was Sean Udall's old club as well, wasn't it? The Middlesex captain.
Yeah, that's right. Handed me my first class. It just highlights the importance of partnerships on a ground like this. So he was captain in the first year. That's how hard it is last year at the club.
Two taken. Rightly on to 14. Yeah, all the best to Sean Udall if he's tuned in. Two former counties. England Test cricketer as well. A T20 winner. The Aegeus Bowl, or the Rose Bowl as it was back then in 2008.
Yeah, and when I was there, it's obviously the swan song, I guess, of his career, and well into his 40s then, but he was still a really fine spinner at that stage.
The grief he used to get off Tim Mercer for being an old man at that point.
Yeah, don't worry. The world has brought that right back around to Merz right now. He's got a number of early 20s lads who give it right back to him now every day. So.
The heave, didn't get hold of it at all. Actually saved him in the end, all along the floor, dragged to deep square. Into the 15th, 117 for 5. Wasn't it to Carey's? Played in a match last year, and Mercer had taken a few, and somebody put it to him at the end of the match that when Mercer had taken his first-class wicket, to Carey's wasn't even born.
I don't know if that is the case, but I think there's more than one in our squad who that might well be the case for. So, yeah, it's certainly, funny, I guess, when you look back on things like that, and when Mert starts discussing about the years that he started in, and you look around the room and think that some of the guys weren't born then it's pretty mad to think.
Got a feeling, would it have been the Durham game? I'll have a look now and see if that was De Carey's debut. That one gets through, wide a bit off, slapped away into the offside.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much width there on offer from Blakey. I think when you're bowling at, an all-rounder or bowler, you certainly want to stay away from allowing them to free their arms too much. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bumper on offer, maybe, to follow that up.
Drags by Wood. Should just be a single. Helm coming around from mid-on, so Whiteley on to strike. Two guys who followed in Roland Jones's footsteps, from Hampton School, Cullen, and from Leeds Uni, Ross Whiteley, although a little bit of a different time frame for Cullen.
Yeah, certainly. It's obviously sort of a very similar route for myself and Blake, and I don't know whether following my footsteps was too ideal around the time that I left school, but luckily he seems to have done it the smart way. And obviously been great to see him, come up, and barring that injury he had last year, he's just always shown so much promise and felt like he was on a steady rise. So I'm sure that'll carry on as he gets back to fitness this summer.
in the air.
Straight bashing.
Safely down to long off for a single, though. Two pictures that adorn the walls of Hampton School as you walk into the reception. On one side, Toby Rowland-Jones, on the other, Blake Cullen.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but it feels like the teaching improved since I left, because he's a damn sight cleverer than I am. So.
He's a scientist, isn't he?
Yeah.
Bit of the Clark Kent about him.
Yeah, he's certainly smarter than you might think.
Oh, listen to that off the bat. Absolutely flies onto the tented roofs at Cow Corner. 6 runs. Just going shorter on that occasion. Length picked up by Wood. 13 off 6, just giving this innings a bit of a jolt. The Hawks need it. Back over his head, and 4 more. Crackler for a single, though. 2 pitches that need to be long on. The boundary, good over this for Hampshire. 16 off it so far.
Yeah, good striking from Wood, and obviously feels like a little bit of a momentum shift here. Just when we wrestled a fair bit of the initiative, obviously in T20 there's always going to be times where the opposition punch back. So key time to break this partnership and keep taking wickets.
Follows him. Woods manufactures it well to deep backward square, and Holman single taken. 1 to end the over, so 17 off it. 134 for 5 after 16, Hampshire. Woods' highest score in T20 is 27 from 65 innings. Still to come. Dawson, Curry, Ellis and Turner.
Yeah, I guess, Wood elevated just for exactly this, try and add a real quick impetus to the innings. Doesn't have to be too concerned about his responsibility, and yeah, see if he can make a difference.
Cut hard, straight to the fielder. 135 for 5. Two overs for Helm, number 22, so he'll bowl the last 2 at Salters Field end. Ooh. Inside edge, run out of the non-striker's end. Higgins has time, he misses. He'd been gone by a mile. Oh, they'll get an overthrow. Had time to steady himself. Just couldn't find the target.
Too much time. Had enough time to miss it on both sides, so.
Cut straight to Holman at point again. Feels as though he's missed out there, Wood. He's on to 20.
Yeah, good this from Higgo, bowling clearly to his field and with a plan in place. So feels like an important over this, with 2 left for Helm and 1 left, probably a toss-up between Lukey, who's bowled brilliantly, and Martin Anderson.
Leg side off the hip to short fine leg. Just the leg by. Yeah, I was just going to work that out. So Helm's got 2 left, number 22 so far. Cullen bowled out 1 for 41. De Carey's bowled out 2 for 34. Good from him. Anderson's none for 19 from 2, while Holman is 2 for 12 from 3. But that means him bowling, the final over at this end? Throw out the non-strikers end. They're through. The throw misses anyway. We go spinner to bowl the 19th. It's
Tricky,
call.
yeah. I mean, certainly he's been, the hardest guy to get away, hasn't he? But with that extra bit of freedom, with it being so late in the innings, it might be a little bit risky, but certainly he's bowled particularly well. And
that's up in the air. Could be a wicket for Higgins. Drops short. Deep backward square coming in. Max Hold'em. So Whiteley gets away with it. He's on to 18. Wood has 21. Whiteley keeps the strike. 3 overs to go here at Radlett. Hampshire put in. They're 140 for 5.
yeah, superb over there from Ryan. Like I said, looked like he really was clear on what he wanted to do. A lot of pace off, but making sure that he used the wicket that we said has been pretty tricky, back of a length, and yeah, looked like they really struggled to hit the ball clean there.
So Higgins has gone for 9 off his 2. Does he bowl the 19th?
Yeah. There's a lot of options. Certainly, yeah, Lukey will be feeling pretty hard done by if he doesn't finish his spell after bowling how he has done.
Come on, Cheddar.
Good start for Helm. Ankles across Whiteley, looking to give himself room.
Yeah, excellent that from Tom. Really important that we finish well here after having such a strong period after that power play, really wrestling back the momentum and finding ways to take wickets. So important that these next 3 overs are kept to as low as possible, and I think anything that would end up under 170 would feel like a really good effort.
Up in the air. Safe though. Well inside the circle. As Anderson charges in from long off.
Yeah, another miss hit there from that back of a length. Good clubbing at the moment from Ross Whiteley. He's just finding ways to evade the fielders, so hopefully that doesn't give him an opportunity to get his eye in and start finding the middle of the bat.
Slow ball. It's a full toss and it's a good stop. It's great fielding by Holden. Gets the throw in early as well. They're back for the second, but outstanding work by Holden.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the performance in the field has been better, and particularly here it isn't always the easiest outfield, both with it being quick and a little bit uneven in patches. So it feels like we've really managed to execute well, both on the boundaries and in the ring, keeping the singles to a minimum. So it's been good so far.
Slow ball again. Just a single this occasion. I think we come back for the second. There's a little bobble there, which Carey's had to be wary of. Protect the boundary. Allow them a couple. Still plenty can happen in the next 2.2 overs, but at the halfway stage, of course, it will only be a job half done, but Middlesex will be very happy with the way this has gone. Best innings, I'd assume, so far, from the top of my head anyway. T20 campaign so far this season. Gets that one through. Another dot ball.
I think so, and I think best of all has been the combination of. I think the plans have been really clearly laid out, and then the execution has been pretty bang on as well. There's always going to be boundaries, always going to be good shots, but it looks like the guys really are clear in what they're trying to do, and on the most part have pulled it off. And
against the defending champions.
Yeah, and certainly you need wickets early against these guys, and to put pressure on their lower order, and I think we've done that. We've done that perfectly.
That's good again from Helm. We're just having to adapt a single down to long leg. End of the 18th. Helm goes for just the 6th. 6 off that over.
Yep, and those last 2 overs going for 12 is, I think exactly what we'd have looked for as a team there. Trying to minimise the boundaries and knowing that there's always going to be a chance that they can run a couple into these pockets in the outfield. But if you can really take down those boundary options, then then you really give yourself a chance of getting out of the over with as little damage as possible.
Higgins it is to bowl the final over. So that last over that he bowled, number 10 off 2 for Higgins. I think, what was it, the 17th that he bowled, that bowled in this over, didn't it? Excellent over. Last over from this end, I was saying, sorry. Oh, it's crunched. Through the covers it goes, straight to the sweeper.
Yeah, and certainly the last few games, Higgins come back nicely with the ball. Probably didn't feel at his best and start the blast as well as he would have liked with ball in hand. And it is a tricky game sometimes when it's working against you, but great to see him coming back nicely last couple.
Try catch it. Feathered to short fine leg straight to the field. It's just a single taken.
Yeah, it looks like he's really finding a way to get some good purchase on these cutters and slower balls here, really making life tricky. Particularly Whiteley struggling to really find a way of picking up the pace off the wicket, which has been particularly effective.
Give it a little bit of width, flayed in the air, just fine of Holman. Tried to get something out of it. He had one grab at it really, but just eluding him.
Yeah, my fault. Just as I said, the fielding had been our best of the season. Never easy. That hard to put much blame on the fielder's door there.
The trajectory as well with that slope, as we mentioned from the mounds, you just never know how that bounce is going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, now he steps across. Umpire Bailey's gone with the wides. Just outside the line. Higgins not impressed. As Wood had gone across. Just push that little bit wider by Higgins.
Yeah, it did look a little bit on the harsh side, that. We're always told as players that the wide line shifts across as the batsman goes, so you always feel like you need to make sure that you use that and sort of hope that there'll be a little bit of leeway on your side.
Oh, that's right on the line that time. Maybe just even things up a little.
We'll call that 1-1.
Oh, swing and a miss. Now, one's come from Higgins.
Yeah, good mixing again from Ryan here. And certainly I think, even for a guy of, might not have, bundles of pace, but he's got a massive appetite for these scenarios and for bowling in pressure situations, which always stands a bowler in good stead.
Last ball of the 19th. Oh, that's good as well. Just inside the line. Brilliant from Higgins. That's perfect. Given that little bit of width. And fine over from Higgins. 153 for 5. Remember, just past the 100 point when the wickets had tumbled, we were saying they'd be trying to look for somewhere around 160. Well, these guys gave it a chance. 31 from Wood, 20 from Whiteley. Good strike rates from them, but Middlesex have just dragged it back again in the last couple of overs. And Helm bowling the final over. Well, it could go anywhere, of course, this over, but Helm at the death, such a difficult bowler to get away.
Yeah, and it is always hard to tell, particularly when we were mentioning a partnership gets going and two guys are in. Certainly, it feels like the ground gets smaller and that it's easier to score. So maybe we'd look at 180 as about par, but certainly three single-digit overs so far to close out the innings. Hopefully another one to follow here has been particularly impressive.
Block hole delivery in the air. Whoa, he's got hold of that. Magnificent shot from Whiteley. It's right up there from Helm. He's missed by barely a matter of inches his target, but Whiteley cashes in.
Yeah, good batting. Whiteley probably doesn't feel like he struck the ball particularly well, and that felt like it really was, pretty close to that Yorker length, and he's just managed to get enough under it. And yeah, he's a strong guy and not the biggest boundary straight, and yeah, he's made Helmy pay there.
I mean, that was the finest of the margins. How he's cleared 6 out of that delivery. It was hardly in the slot, was it?
Absolutely, and players like Whiteley are so dangerous for that exact reason, in that, you know, when it does come to this key period in the game, your margins do feel small, particularly when you get to the slightly smaller grounds.
So look at the 6 again. Just a little bit of width, I guess, helped him to free up the arms slightly. But still, Helm was hardly off target there, was he?
Yeah, and I think, you know, probably it is a fraction often, like you said, often with guys like Whiteley, the sort of bigger hitters at the death, you probably want to either get right towards the wide line, away from his body, or at the toes, to make sure that he can't free those arms anywhere